So today's topic is on Chanel quality, okay? So quality issues with Chanel. How picky is too picky? And what should you say or do when a piece that you receive or you buy is not it? It's pretty unfortunate that in this day and age, we have to second guess the quality of luxury brands. In particular, Chanel, but other luxury houses as well have their quality faults, and especially at the prices that we're paying, which are quite extortionate for what we're buying, let's just face it, okay? We all know that everything is priced rather high as compared to what they should be sold for, but hey, that is luxury, okay? We're buying brands here, so, brands are going to decide how much they're going to charge their customers, and of course, we enable it because we also purchase these items, and we buy into a brand, okay? But there is a lot of talk about the quality of Chanel and how it has been dwindling over the years, and a lot of die-hard Chanel buyers who have been shopping for many, many years who have compared the quality of today's bags of being inferior to what it used to be. So in particular, when it comes to hardware used to be gold-plated for a little, I don't even know how long it was, but apparently some hardware used to be gold-plated. But even that has its issues too, because it does fade. Like it's not a very thick coating, okay? It does come off, okay? But you can get it replated. So that's, I guess, the best thing. But hardware, leather, stitching and all that, that it has definitely been inferior as compared to the past. I can't really comment because I wasn't buying Chanel at the time that they were. So, to me, some of the quality I haven't really had major issues except for one item that I've filmed a video on, which is the item that I will be unboxing today. So there's an unboxing. I'm going to be sharing this with you, and spoiler, you guys know it's a black Trendy CC in the size small. So if you're just here for the unboxing and that's all you wanted to know what it was, then probably this video might not be for you. But I thought I'd just share the unboxing with you because we've been on this little process together, okay? But as a consumer, it kind of is a bit unfortunate that with anything that you buy, right, it doesn't have to be luxury handbags, it doesn't have to be clothing, it can be jewelry, okay, so luxury jewelry, it could be furniture, it can also be vehicles too, that you really have to scrutinize everything, especially at the luxury level, right? Like you shouldn't have to, is what I'm trying to say. If you're buying something like that, you should feel secure enough that what you're buying is near flawless, okay? I'm not expecting flawless, but near flawless, okay? And then also the expectation that you'll be taken care of if something was to ever go wrong. Now, when it comes to Chanel, I can say as somebody who has been buying for the short while that I have, okay? I haven't been buying these things all my life, okay? Let's face it. But I have been treated quite well when it comes to repairs, exchanges, or anything like that. Even when I was new to buying, they took care of me. So, which is why I kind of stuck with them. With LV, I did have a quality issue and they didn't really handle it very well. So I think I was a bit turned off by that. But with Chanel, I've been taken care of. But the thing is that with these pretty, drastic price increases that we've been having to the scale that we've been having them at, and it's not like they haven't been doing them before, they've been doing them before, and I've done a whole video on my thoughts on the increases I think 2 videos ago. So if you want to check that out, check my recent video out. I'll also link it in the description box. So, there's reasons for that, but part of the distaste for the price increases is, people are expecting a proportionate increase in quality or at least maintain the quality, okay? So, yes, they're not going to go back to gold plating their hardware. They may not add certain features. The bags literally stay the same, or the items literally stay the same. It's just the price is going up. And instead of them actually staying the exact same, sometimes there are quality issues and people are frustrated. And as a consumer, of course, I would be frustrated as well. I am frustrated sometimes. I'm not frustrated because I haven't had terrible quality issues with any of my items, except for one. So let's get into the except for one. So some of you know, I did film a video on this, and the reason why I share this is because I want it to be a learning experience for some of you who might be new to buying or who may not be as experienced as a customer who is firm about what they want. And this can transcend to any, you know, type of item that you're purchasing. Yeah, like don't be a Karen, okay, but be firm about what you expect and be reasonable as well, is what I'm trying to say. So I purchased we had a very extended lockdown in Ontario and stores were closed. So, you know, you couldn't go into boutiques, but the boutiques were still operating for a lot of different brands. They were still operating, and you could, you know, text somebody, or you get in contact with the sales associate. If you already have a sales associate, that's very helpful, but some people were able to just call the boutique. Provided you have a buying history, you can purchase without going into the boutique. Yeah, I think that's how it works. And even then, they will sometimes verify your credit card with the bank. Of course they would, because it's an expensive item, so they want to make sure that they're not dealing with a fraudulent type of transaction, okay? So those are the reasons why some people had some issues, because they didn't have buying history before. But I think you can still, I mean, well, anyway, thankfully lockdowns should be a thing of the past, hopefully. Hopefully we don't go into another one. But anyway, it was a unique buying experience. So this past year, I've done more than my fair share of shopping, okay, for luxury, and I, you know, call it boredom or whatnot. I think some of us have seen that. Like when it comes to Amazon orders or online shopping, like a lot of people were doing that, and that's okay. I have no regrets. Most of the items that I received have been great. Like if I didn't see them in person and I had them shipped to me, or I picked them up from outside of the boutique, I've had a pretty good experience. Like they were, you know, as per my expectations, and I was very happy. And I'm a very picky OCD person. Like I want to make sure all my items stay nice and pristine. And when I buy something, I do look at it very well and make sure that it's to my satisfaction. There was a Trendy CC that, you know, you know that I love my green one, and here it is. And every time I pull this out, it just makes me so happy because the color is just so vivid. You don't need to hear me talking about this bag anymore. The camera doesn't quite capture how beautiful this color is, and I've mentioned this before. You really have to see it in person. So if I'm ever wearing it and you run into me, do admire it. Like I just want you to come and see it and feel it. Like you need to. Okay, this is lambskin. So ever since I bought this, I thought I'd like to have one in black. So I was resistant to buying this style because I only imagined it in black. But then I saw this color, I bought it. The black was not available because it's very popular. You know, you sometimes can't buy them because they don't come every season, okay? So it is a seasonal item, but they don't come every season, so it depends on what the boutique orders, and there almost always is a black one that they'll order, but then they'll have seasonal colors such as the green, and this time around there's a beautiful red out as well. So one of my friends had messaged me that there's a sales associate at another boutique here in Toronto who has a Trendy CC, and it was you know, because it goes by wait list, I guess, and you know, if you let your sales associates know that this is an item that you're looking for, then when it comes into the boutique, the bags are drawn via lottery, which is fair. So each sales associate gets the certain bag, and then they'll go according to their list of names of clients. So they'll message somebody, they'll let them know that it's here, and if they pass on it, then they'll go on to the next one. So I guess that's a fair way to do it, because then you don't always have the one person who's always getting the it bags. Like, so far, it's fair, but I guess some people can bypass the system, but whatever. But anyway, so it was available. And she was like, do you want to buy it? And I'm like, yes, because it was something that I wanted. So I purchased it right away. I didn't even ask for photos, which is really weird why I didn't. And maybe because I just had this trust, like it. So I didn't ask for photos, and it was brand new. It was in the box, like the packaging and everything. I drove to the boutique. You couldn't go inside. I had to prepay for it, so I had to pay for it in order to secure the bag. So I paid for it, and the next day I went and I picked it up. You know, I met the sales associate. I've actually bought from her before, but I mean, not as much. And I saw her again. She recognized me, and I picked it up from outside, drove, you know, home. I left it at home. I had to do something else. And then later that day, I opened the bag and I opened it. I also filmed me opening it. Not for you guys, actually. I wasn't planning on filming an unboxing for that bag. But I like to film anything I buy when I unbox, and I'll get into why later. Okay, even before I started YouTube, I always would film as I opened a package and as I packed a package if I was to send anybody anything, if I'm selling anything. So it was a disappointment. It was crooked, like the bag, and I showed you, if you watch that video, the flap was off, like the flap was crooked, and the bottom, the stitching was puckered, so it kind of did this little divot, and I'll see if I have a photo lying around somewhere, but it was just not good. The lambskin was not firm. Like, this is a really soft lambskin, but it's very durable feeling, you know? There's just something off about it, right? Like, it just didn't look right. And then proportions. So proportions as compared to this were totally off. That black bag was a little bit taller, and I'm like, what is this? So anyway, so I sent photos to that sales associate. I said, thank you so much. It was nice to see you. I opened the bag, but there's something off about it. And I'm going to bring it back. So I you know, this is what you say. You have to be very firm. Not saying, I think I don't like it. You say, it's not to my satisfaction. I will be bringing it back. So this was a unique situation. Had I observed that bag in boutique, I would have rejected it. But this I observed at home, okay? And it's okay if you observe in boutique and you observe something else at home, because that can happen too. So I told her, and then she, you know, she was very nice about it. She's a lovely lady, and she said, oh, you know, sometimes it has to do with the lambskin, you know, maybe just try positioning, which is right. You know, I tried positioning the flap a little bit. It didn't really work, and I said, you know, it doesn't seem to be a good piece, so I'll be dropping it off. So I did end up dropping it off. It's always a bit discouraging to return anything, because in Canada you don't get a full refund, right? So whatever money you spend at the boutique belongs to that boutique forever. You're gonna get a store credit, okay? And that's actually good, because, you know, they're not obligated to return anything, right? So yeah, you'll get a store credit. So you're stuck with that store credit, and it's not something that stays on your profile. Like, you have to physically carry that credit on a card, on a gift card, and if you lose it, it's gone, right? So that's why it's a bit nerve-wracking, versus, like, I know other houses will keep it on your profile, so it's always there. But with this, you get a card. It's up to you where you want to keep it. The boutique is not going to keep it for you. So, you know, it's quite a bit of money to keep on a gift card, and I don't know what else I'm going to buy, right? And, you know, people are going to be like, okay, well, realistically, you're probably going to spend it, and it's true, but you don't want to be tied down, right? And in this situation, I had, you know, said, well, seeing as I bought it unseen, and, you know, I was expecting some quality, I'm not returning it because I changed my mind. I'm returning it because it's not the same quality. If you have another one to give me, I'll gladly swap if there's another one. And they didn't have one. They weren't sure if another one was going to be coming very soon, so, you know, the best thing to do was to give me a store credit. I had the option to wait, actually. That was an option to wait. And I thought, you know what, like, I don't know if there's going to be another one. And I'd usually wait. Normally I'd wait, but it's quite a bit of money to have blocked off, so I didn't wait. And I said, you know, I asked, can I get a refund? So they spoke to the manager because it was the unique situation, and they did honor a full refund, which I appreciate. So they did do that, and they were great about it. They weren't really giving me a hard time. They were trying to, you know, go off with like the handmade argument and all that, and I was like, you know, even my other bags, if they're so-called handmade, they don't look like this, okay? So I don't care if mine are machine made or handmade. I just want them to look good, okay? So the bags that I currently have, whether they're handmade or not by you guys, they look great, and I don't have this sort of misshapenness, okay? So they were really nice about it. They gave me a full refund, and that was that. And I had let them know. I also let my other sales associates know, who I deal with on a regular basis. I also showed them photos, and they were also like, yeah, that looks off, right? So they were also in agreement. Other trendy CCs and seasonal colors that I saw were also lopsided and weird, and some of you had sent me photos of ones that you've seen in your boutique that were lopsided and weird, and some of you had sent me photos saying, hey, I got this, but it looks amazing, and I'm like, thank God, that's amazing, because I think it just depends on batch and all that, so, and season and all that. And recently, so I'm part of a few Facebook groups. I do follow them. I don't follow them as much now because now I'm more in like YouTube world, so I follow more people on YouTube and I talk to people on YouTube and Instagram. But on Facebook, I came across a post where, and I'll stick in a photo here, she put up a photo of a boy bag and there were some skipped stitches on the outside border, a couple. Now, you wouldn't notice that right away, and it wasn't something so off. I mean, it didn't really distort the bag in any way, but you could see it and you're like, it shouldn't be like that. And you know when you're sewing, right, because these are sewn using sewing machines, right, sometimes the needle can skip a stitch, right, where the bottom, I don't know what to call it, the bottom stitch and the top stitch, they kind of cross. So sometimes the bottom stitch doesn't line up with the top stitch, so you end up skipping a stitch and you have a longer stitch than the other stitches. So she had posted that photo and some people were going off on her saying like that she's being way too picky and unreasonable, and other people were like, no, that's not okay. Like don't take the bag. Like that's a quality issue right there. So it really depends, like how picky is too picky, and I think it depends on what you're willing to accept, and every customer has their own expectations, and don't listen to what other people have to say. If you don't like something, don't buy it, right? Like some people will may think that you're being a little bit ridiculous, like, oh, like that's, you know, but it might not bother them. And if it's something that's going to bother you, and you're spending so much money on something, whether you're actually, even it doesn't even matter about money, okay? Even if you're buying, say, like a $10 shirt, if you don't feel good wearing that $10 shirt, you shouldn't buy it. If you're buying a $5,000-$6,000 handbag and there is a little, you know, tiny imperfection on it and it's gonna bother you, then no, don't, right? You're buying things to make you happy, right? To make you feel good. When you put it on, it makes you feel good. And although other people may not notice that, but you notice it and you know it's there and you're wearing it for yourself. So that I would say go off, like, you know, if it doesn't look good to you, then don't buy it. So I'm going to talk about one experience I've had. So this video is not very structured, okay? I guess you guys like unstructured videos, but just things that I've picked up along the way, and I'm sure some of you have tips as well, but some things that I look out for now because it's happened to me in my experience. So this is my Jumbo Classic flap, and this is how I've done a review on this, but this is how I have it stored. So I have the felt and everything, and I have this ribbon. Okay, let's pull this out. This is the felt. And I have this ribbon, okay, because sometimes the jumbos can look kind of bulbous on the sides. So just to encourage this to stay in so it looks more squared on the sides, I put a ribbon around this so it just holds its structure like that, okay? So I do that for the jumbo in particular. I don't have to do that for the maxi or the medium, but for the jumbo, just because it can look a little bit rounded on the sides, and I like to do that. But big bags are also coming back, guys, so if you look at, like, you know, leaked photos online of upcoming collections, you actually see like maxi classic flaps and jumbo classic flaps in like seasonal colors, and it's great. So when I first bought the jumbo, it was around my graduation, and it was a celebratory purchase, and I purchased it, and I didn't use it right away, okay? So I was still quite nervous about using luxury handbags. Also, actually, my lifestyle at the time, I was carrying a bigger tote bag around. I needed to carry more things, and this, to me at the time, did not carry enough, so I wasn't using this, and now I use it a lot. So when I pulled it out a couple of months later, I thought, hey, you know, we're going to be going away, we're going to go to Miami or something, and I'm like, you know what, I'll take my jumbo, right? I opened it up, and I noticed that this inside CC stitching, not this particular bag, okay, because this is another one. This CC stitching, okay, so on the inside of the flap, so one of the stitches were popped. Yeah, so one of them were popped, it was missing. And I looked at it and I'm like, I've never even used this. I still have the stickers and everything intact. So I took it to the Chanel flagship, which used to be on Bloor Street in Toronto. And they were about to close that location, so because they were going to move over to Yorkville, build a new location, and where Chanel is right now, that's where Dior is. So I went in, and the woman there is like, yeah, you really haven't used this bag. And they had said, okay, what we can do is we can, there's another one at Holt Renfrew Bloor, which is just a minute walk away, that you can exchange it for, or we can give you a store credit based on what you purchased it for, you know, and we can do that. So I was like, oh, you know what? First I thought about the store credit before she pulled up the stock at the other location, and I said, first of all, I don't want to walk around with store credit, and this is my first encounter with store credit. So, and I was like, and I also thought, well, if I keep the store credit and I say I want to buy another one of these, which these didn't come in so quickly, right? Like you had, like, again, you were waitlisted for this combination. And what if the price goes up? So I have store credit for, say, I don't know, like 6,000, let's just say. And what if the price goes up to like 6,500? So now I'm gonna have to pay extra. So no, I'm not gonna be taking the store credit. Then when she pulled up that they had stock at another location, I was like, okay, great, I'll just walk over, just let them know I'm coming. So I went there and I saw the bag that they had, and it didn't look very good. Like it was a bit, like it was like a floor model. I think it was just manhandled. Like the Caviar was not shiny, it was very matte. So the Caviar was really matte and it looked really dull, and I wasn't happy with it. So they had said, well, we can send your bag to Paris to get repaired. And I was like, okay, we'll repair it. I waited a couple of months. It was 6 months, didn't come back yet. And then apparently the boutique had said that the repairs in Paris had deemed it irreparable. And it's probably because it was way too labor intensive to, you know, open up this stitching and re-stitch that. Like they just, you know, said, well, just give the client a new bag. So I would get the bag whenever they get a new jumbo in. So in 6 months, they received one. They called me and I went to go look at it. The leather was not very stiff. It looked kind of too soft and squishy. Like I wasn't happy with it. And I said, I'll wait for a new one. And I wasn't in a rush because it's not like I had to really pay the new price if it ever came in. So when they brought a new one eventually, I think it was about a year, I finally got this one, and it was to my standards. So yeah, that was the story of that. But anytime you're purchasing a bag, you want to look at the stitching, okay? So I know there's all sorts of things where the stitching all has to line up perfectly. That doesn't happen. It does line up, but it doesn't always line up perfectly. But you want to make sure that the edges, there's no missed pop stitches anywhere on the bag. You want to take a look at the back pocket. Just take your time and go through all the stitching. You want to pay attention to these stitches here. Make sure that they're not popped. Sometimes that can happen as you use the bag, but you want to make sure that they're not popped like that. As the straps, I mean, if it's a chain strap, again, you want to observe if anything is unraveling. So sometimes that can happen. It's never happened to me. And definitely look at that CC. That's something I always check for. Okay, now every bag I check for that. Look at the stitching around this as well. Make sure that that is all good as well. So you want to look for missed stitches. Now, when I originally purchased this bag, I had 3 that I could choose from. Okay, so I looked at 3. One had silver and 2 of them were gold hardware with Caviar Leather. One had silver. And when I originally purchased this bag, I was able to compare between 3, and I chose the one that looked the most black and had the shiniest finished. And that's something that I prefer. Some people prefer more matte finish. Now you have to realize that leather is a natural material, right? So it's a natural occurring material, which means that there's going to be variance between each skin that you get, right? Like not one animal is going to produce the same skin as another animal, okay? In this case, cow, okay? So it's gonna be varied between each pelt. Like, I don't even know what you call it. Is it a pelt? Pelt of leather? Is that what it's called? Or, you know, yeah, I think it's called pelt of leather. So there's going to be variance between those. Now, even with other natural occurring materials, right, like marble, granite, there is going to be differences in each slab that you get. In wood, if you're doing flooring, your wood's each piece is gonna look different from the next because it's a natural occurring material. Like it can't be the exact same all the time. Now, with luxury houses, they do select their leathers based on, you know, certain characteristics. They have standards that they go by, but they're not going to be absolutely identical. So that being said, the leather is going to take on color differently or dyes differently from skin to skin. And they try to maintain its consistency, but you can't because it's natural and there's going to be changes with that. So, you know, go with what you prefer. Sometimes people prefer more of a stiff leather. Some people prefer more of a soft and squishy leather. Sometimes the finish on it is more matte. Sometimes the finish on it is more shiny. So if you have a chance to compare one bag to the next, if they're the exact same configuration, do so. Sometimes I have been able to compare it, even recently when they replaced my wallet on chain. If you know that story, I did do a couple of videos. I won't repeat it here because then we'll be here forever. But they replaced it. I didn't ask for it to be replaced, but they deemed it to be of not standard quality, so they replaced it after 5 years. And this is before the Chanel et Moi program. So I had a chance to look at 3 of the exact same wallet on chain, same caviar, black leather, gold hardware, and I could not see a difference between all 3. And I was like, the more I look at them, the more crazy I'm gonna go. So I just told my SA, I'm like, just pick one for me because I don't see any faults with any of them. So I picked one and I'm happy. So, but sometimes you can notice a difference between, if you can compare it to another one, like this green Trendy CC. When I went to go purchase it, they had 2 and they were brand new. Just one was on the floor, the stickers were removed. It wasn't even put out on the floor yet. And then one had the stickers, and obviously I took the one with the stickers only to take them off again because that's what I do. But they were the exact same. There was no issues with it. Sometimes you can choose, sometimes you can't choose, especially if it's a so-called unicorn item and it's very limited and you can only get one. Then you know you can't compare. But if you can, please do. Please ask if they have another one, and you can compare and choose between the 2, and that way you know yourself that you've made the best decision. So if you look at even like Hermes, if you look at their Togo leather, apparently that has veining. So some leathers will have more veining than others, and so that's why. But in that case, you can't even compare to check because sometimes you only get offered. You're only gonna get offered one, right? Like it's a miracle if you get offered one. So I guess beggars can't be choosers, right? But yeah, some leathers will have more veining than others, and that's why, you know, it's just natural occurrence. Spots. So I don't obviously have the bag because I didn't purchase it, but I saw the 20B. So last year there was an iridescent ivory mother of pearl bag, lambskin leather, medium size, that I went to go see. It was a so-called unicorn, but not many people went crazy for that bag. I don't know why, and when I saw it, I didn't really like it personally either because it looked too shiny almost. But anyway, one of the reasons why I didn't purchase it was because it had all these black dots all over it, and apparently that is something that is inherent to the dyeing process. That's what people are told. It's happened even with some of the caramel, the very coveted, I think 21P. Gosh, I remember 21P, I think, caramel bag. And that had black dots on some of them where they were on the front, some of them had them on the back, and it just depended on what you got. So look out for that. It shouldn't be a huge deal breaker, but I mean, if it's in an area that's obvious, then you might not want that. That bag, the iridescent bag I saw, had a scuff on it, and because it was an iridescent finish, I knew I couldn't buff it out despite it being lambskin. So for those reasons I didn't go for it. Plus I wasn't in love with how it looked, so I just passed on it because who wants to spend that chunk of money for no reason, right? So that's something to look out for. Sometimes leathers can have inherent creasing in them before they're stitched. Now they should look out for this before they cut out the piece to stitch it into a handbag. but sometimes you can have a crease that is naturally occurring in the leather, and I've noticed that even on Caviar bags. So just look out for that there's no weird indentations that shouldn't be there. It's in a spot that wouldn't normally indent, so take a look for that. Caviar leather, so people think it is indestructible. I'm here to tell you it is destructible. Caviar leather pebbles, because this isn't, I mean, it's kind of like I guess it's like a big stamp that imprints into the leather to give it that texture. Sometimes the little pebbles can flake off. So I have seen that on new bags where it's so like, you'd really have to, it's like you're looking at it with a magnifying glass, but that's how I like to buy stuff. Some people don't think that's, excessive, but I noticed it on the side, and I noticed that, there was a bit of the caviar just flaking off, and I'm like, what is that, right? Like and there's like suede underneath that you can see, and that was not cool. So yeah, watch out for caviar pebbles flaking off, because that can happen. You can also scratch and scuff caviar, where you completely scuff off the caviar, and it's not like lambskin, right, that you can really like, I mean, you can paint it, but you won't have that structure, that texture. So those are some things that I'd want you to look out for when it comes to leather. Now, when it comes to shape and construction, we've talked about crooked flaps, okay? So the flaps can sometimes, when you close them, be crooked. There are several reasons why that can happen that may not be a quality issue. So especially for classic flaps, depending on sometimes how the zipper, so this inside zipper, can be placed in such a way that when you close it, it might seem like one side's higher than the other just because it's being lifted. So just watch out for that. Maybe it could be that. Sometimes if you're closing in a rush or it's stuffed a certain way, there's felt underneath, sometimes it can look like that, but when you look at it, it's fine. Sometimes the turn lock can be slightly tilted. Now, it shouldn't be like that. That shouldn't happen, but it can, where the turn lock is positioned in such a way that when you close the bag, when you close it, it'll tilt the flap. Now, there's a fix for that. Repairs can shift that turn lock a little bit so that it can sit better. So, or it physically is crooked, okay? So that can happen. That happened with the Trendy CC that I had before. In some cases, the base can be crooked. So the base can sort of go on a slant, and it might not actually be crooked, but the stitching is tight on one side where it can lift the side. So I have noticed that on a classic flap before when I was purchasing the maxi. And I pointed out, because again, I had two to compare it with. So that's always a good idea to have something to compare it with. But it looked off, right? So, your eyes sometimes can play tricks on you, but sometimes your eyes can tell you when something's off. Like, our brain is very intuitive with this sort of thing. We like symmetry. So if something, we can tell right away. And if it's there, then look into it further, right? Like, take a look and see. So crooked flaps is one thing to watch out for, and if it's something that, can't be fixed, or if you've tried, kind of molding it, because sometimes leather, it can sit a certain way, so you just kind of have to reposition. And if it's okay, then it's fine. But if it can't be, then there's definitely something wrong, that it's not laying horizontally straight, because that's the front of the bag. I'm sorry, if it's not lining up, it's not lining up. It doesn't look good to me. I'm not buying it. So, some people will try to tell you, oh, that happens. It shouldn't, right? And it's the front of the bag. You don't want it to be crooked, okay? Like, it's just like your house, right? You don't want your windows to be cracked, right? Like, you don't want your door to be slanted. You want it to be nice. So make sure that you take a look at the flap. You want to look at glazing and glue. So the bags that I have right here, these are not glazed. These are all stitched. Certain bags, what style from Chanel has glazing? I don't think any of them. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But there are bags that have glazing. Louis Vuitton is notorious for using glazing. Even Hermes uses glazing, where basically you got two edges of leather and they're stitched, but then to cover the sides, they're glazed, so it kind of feels like rubber. So watch out for cracked glazing. Watch out for sticky, tacky glazing. It shouldn't be like that. So make sure that it's not sticky or cracking, because that's not a good sign. That shouldn't be like that. And some bags from Louis Vuitton have been recalled because of the glazing that's been cracking. Again, whatever you're buying, is it a floor model? Has it been manhandled in the boutique? Have people touched it with their grubby hands? In the days of COVID, I'm even more paranoid and germophobic, more so than before. So if somebody's touched it, I'm like, it's fine, it's okay. But you know, if it's nice if it's a new piece from the back. And yeah, if it's a floor model, it's okay. Obviously I've bought floor models before, so it's okay, it's fine, I'll forget about it. But it's nice if you can get a new one, a fresh one from the back. But the new and fresh one from the back doesn't always mean it's perfect. As you can see from the Trendy CC that I showed you before, that was brand new with stickers and tissue and paper and everything, it was wonky. So new, brand new doesn't always mean that it's perfect. But you know, always ask, see if there's another one that you can take a look at, again, to compare. Some Chanel boutiques have absolutely horrible lighting, okay? So here I know that one of the boutiques at Holt Renfrew, Toronto, the lighting is not very good. So I can't really see color very well, and sometimes like you just want bright lighting. So don't hesitate to ask if you can see it in different lighting. So maybe there's another area of the boutique that you can look at the piece, or anything that you're buying really, right? Take a look at it in different lights, because sometimes you can notice things in different lighting. If I have seen people, people who have sent me videos of bags that they're buying, that their sales associates have, like let's say if the shop or the boutique is inside the mall, they'll step outside of the store and take a video for them or show them outside of the store. So if they're comfortable doing that, obviously for some reasons they may not be comfortable doing that, like let's say somebody just like kind of grabs it and walks away, but I'm sure they have security and all that. But do ask if you can see it outside, that would be great. So ask for that, definitely. Take your time looking over the bag, and really take your time, okay? So don't be in a rush. I know sometimes we get rose-colored vision, right? Rose-colored goggles, and you know, when we really are excited about buying something, we feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I have to look at it really quickly because I want to buy. So, you know, yes, look it over, assess if you really love it or not, be reasonable, but take your time and look it over. You are spending a lot of money at the end of the day, so it's fine. Take all the time you want. If your sales associate is busy, just, you know, you can also say, if they're comfortable, be like, you know, you can take another client. I'm just going to sit in the corner here and look over this, and then I'll let you know when I'm done. Maybe they're okay with you doing that. Nowadays with COVID, with like the store capacity, they might not be able to do that because they can't take more people in, right? They have to get the people out too. But you know, take your time looking over it, pay attention to everything, make a little checklist in your head, and really look at it overall. Try it on. I would say have somebody, if you're with somebody shopping, or get your SA to take your phone and maybe take a photo of you or take a video of you, or you can video yourself in the mirror. I do that a lot. The reason why I do that is because when I see it back on video, I can get a better visual of how I look, because you know, I'm not looking at the bag, I can see myself in the mirror and I can play it back. Sometimes it just looks different on camera. But as one of my friends on here, the Dia Rentist on Instagram, she's a huge contributor on the purse forum as well. Some of you might know her from there. When I was, you know, shopping, and sometimes we chat, and she's like, if you really love the bag, you'll actually overlook certain things, and I think that's absolutely true. When you're so in love with a piece that you don't care for certain things, and it doesn't bother you because you love the bag so much, then that's absolutely right, you know. So in that case, sometimes you can forego little imperfections here and there if you consider them imperfections. But like I said, at the same time, be reasonable. Like, yes, be picky, but also be reasonable. There's a delicate balance there. So what do you say when you get a piece that's not it? And I'm not talking about in the boutique when you're buying something. If you're in the boutique and you're buying something that's not it, you can refuse, right? And ask if there's another one that might come about, and usually they'll keep you in mind if another one comes in. What if you purchase something and you come home and you take a look at it again because you're in a different environment, you're a little bit more relaxed, and you're not really racing, right? Because you've already acquired the bag, you've already purchased the bag, so you don't have that adrenaline rush. You know that it's yours for now, nobody else is going to take it. So you can think about it peacefully, and you look at it again and you notice something and you're like, I don't like this. what do you say? So in that case, I would, if you can, go into boutique. It's very different to communicate via text versus talking to somebody in person, especially when you're negotiating something like this. Sometimes you don't have a choice because your places are closed, but if you can talk to somebody over the phone or in person, that's always best. Take photos of what you talk about, and try to like do it in good time. Like if you receive the bag and you, as soon as you notice it, communicate it right away, because the longer you keep it, you know, I just don't like to keep things for so long, because I don't want somebody to think that I'm using the item and then I'm returning it. So I like to do it right away. It also looks more genuine, but sometimes you just don't get around to opening something. I know that. But here in Canada, we have 2 weeks for exchange, for gift card or exchange for another item. I think that's the case in Europe as well. In the US, I've heard it's 30 days, but it could be 2 weeks as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you can get a full refund. So it's different in different countries. So you want to do it in due time. And be firm, right? Be firm that this is something that you found and it's not something that you particularly are accepting of, and it's going to really bother you. And you know, it's different if you change your mind that you don't want something. That's a whole other story. You can say that you changed your mind. That's different. But if it's a quality issue, point it out and say that, you know, it doesn't sit well with me, and just be honest, right? That you know, even though somebody might say that it's handmade or it's like that, just be clear that you've seen other bags on other people and it doesn't look like that, and you have a different idea in mind, and you know, and they'll understand, okay? And just say that, you know, I'm willing to have another. If you tell them that you're willing to take another piece if they have one, that shows that you're a serious buyer and you're not just returning it because you have buyer's remorse, that you actually want the bag, but you want something that's in perfect shape. So if they see that, like, it's a lot more genuine. Okay, so I talked about when I open bags. So even before I started YouTube, I would always have my husband film me opening the bag, just for memory's sake, because I always think it's such a nice feeling, especially when you're getting some of your first pieces to unbox and remember that, because the joy that you capture, the excitement, it's just fun to watch again how you enjoyed that moment. But it also has a very important purpose as well. So now with the advent of tripods and things like that, it's a lot easier to film on your own. But you know, especially during the pandemic when items were shipped to me, I would always film me opening them, because if I noticed something off with the bag, I have proof that it came like that I didn't do anything to the bag, that, you know, it's caught on film, how I've opened it, it's come out of the box, there's a defect on it, and it's not something that I intervened with. Likewise, if you ever ship something or you sell something to somebody, always film you packaging the item. Take a good shot of the item as you're, you know, that you've described that you're selling. Take a video of you actually packaging that item, labeling the package with the buyer's address. I would even film myself. I mean, this might seem excessive, but I should. I would even film myself going to the post office and shipping it there, so there can be no claim that somebody received an empty box. That is something that I always have thought of. So if you're ever going to sell something where you're shipping it, always do that. I don't really do a lot of selling, but if I was going to do that, then that's something that I do. So always film. Get yourself a tripod, okay? So you have that proof. It's sad that you have to do that, but I mean, so you have that proof. It's good. Something that I also do when I purchase a bag is, for my own records, I take a photo of the bag and I take a photo of the serial number, previously the authenticity card with the receipt. Now we don't get cards anymore with bags, but I'll take a photo of the serial number as well, and I'll keep it on a file. The benefit of doing that is, let's say you got the bag, you have a photo of the serial number, and or even in boutique too, if you know what the serial number is, that's good. Let's say there's something wrong with it and you take it to the boutique and say, hey, like, you know, there's something wrong with it, and can you give me another one? And they might say, sure, we'll swap it for you, there's another one coming, or, you know, we have one in the back, it's fine. You can always compare the serial number to what they're giving you to make sure they're not giving you the exact same bag. I don't think they would really do that, but you never know, right? I don't know. I'm kind of paranoid like that. So make sure that you take note of the serial number, you have a photo of it, so that if they are giving you that same item, that they're not giving you the exact same one that you brought in, telling you that they fixed it or whatnot. So you would notice too, but sometimes, you know, as a buyer, like, you can forget if you haven't seen the item for a couple of days. So always have that so you can compare. I trust that, you know, at least the people that I shop from wouldn't do that. I deal with some great people, so I fully trust their opinion, but you never know. Some people can be sketchy, right? Like, you never know, so you have to look out for yourself as a customer. If, say, they give you store credit, I would say try not to take the store credit, because especially for a bag that you know is going to go up in price, just like, you know, the classic flap. If it's going to go up in price, and these days it's going up even more and more frequently, I wouldn't take a store credit. I would leave it with them, okay? Leave it with them and say, just don't get them to put it on store credit yet. Just say, I'm gonna give you back the bag, and when a new one comes in, I want to exchange it for a new one whenever it comes in. That's what you say. I want to exchange this piece for a new one when it comes in. So you're not returning the bag at all, right? You're not returning for refund. You're not returning for store credit. They're not processing a store credit, but you've prepaid for one that if it ever comes in the next collection, that you have first dibs, you're first in line for it because they owe you a bag. Now, they might not want to do this because maybe they've already, you know, put 2 and 2 together. They might not do this anymore. I know they've done this in the past. They might not agree to do this anymore, but do try, because that way then you don't have to think about the store credit of keeping it safe and making sure that you don't lose it. And also, you know that you're secure in line for the next piece. So that's what I would do. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so that's a way to dodge the price increase so that you're a priority. But again, they may not want to do that. So just try. It works. I've done it before, especially with the jumbo. Remember I told you it works. Having a good sales associate client relationship is really important. And, you know, if you shop often, you don't have to shop very often, but like, I mean, if you go into boutique and you say hello, and you know, you don't have to shop often or every month to have a good sales associate relationship. So having a good client sales associate relationship is also really helpful because you know each other. So it definitely does make a huge difference when conveying your expectations and when asking for an exchange, definitely, because it breaks the ice, right? Like, you're already really comfortable with this person, so you don't feel as, I guess insecure, right? Like you feel a lot more comfortable dealing with this person. So you feel less apprehensive because you've already broken the ice with this person. They already know you as a customer. They already trust you. They already know that you're legit and you're not going to scam the boutique in any way. So in that case, it always is helpful if you've shopped with this person before, definitely when it comes to repairs. So it does help. Now, some people have been frustrated, like, if you've ever shopped, like if you're a newbie shopper and you don't know the sales associate very well and you've never been in there before, then I can see how it can be a little bit intimidating. But just know, like, that you're the customer, okay? So you have to be firm. Don't let anybody sway you into thinking that you're being unreasonable, because I myself, like, I mean, yes, as much as I love the brand, I still do communicate very well if something is not right, because, you know, these are, I wouldn't say, like, I don't think they're mass produced, no, and they're not handmade either. But the thing is that, again, it's not something that is going to be flawless all the time. There can be mistakes. That's okay. And they happen. So as long as they rectify it and as long as they satisfy you as a customer, it's okay, right? Like, if it's not a good piece, that's fine. There will always be more bags. I was talking to one of the managers in the boutique because she was available and we were just chatting, and I was, you know, talking to her about, like, Instagram and, you know, how there's so many photos around, and she's like, oh my God, like, we have people bring us photos from collections that we haven't even seen yet, and they're leaked photos and we don't know how they get them. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to complain, right? We love seeing what's coming, right? We love looking at these photos. But people bring these photos in asking for a particular color, and they're like, we haven't even seen that yet. Like, I don't even know which bag you're talking about, but okay, we'll try to keep you in mind, right? But she was even saying, like, there's just so many bags, and you know, we don't even get sick of them. And them being the associates, they always see new collections dropping, like, literally every 2 months. So they know that colors repeat. They know that there's always going to be something new and always better, okay? So don't always think that you're doomed if you don't get this piece and it's not perfect and that you'll not find another one. There will be a nicer one out there for you that you're going to be like, hey, I'm glad I didn't buy that because I like this better. So there's always going to be more bags. The only thing is, yes, there's going to be price increases. So it's going to always be more expensive, but there will always be more bags, so don't be discouraged. Okay, what else did I want to say? Yeah, so sometimes you don't... Someone's honking outside. It's like road rage outside. People are honking at each other. Sometimes a certain style may not be ideal for you. So I know one of my friends here really loves the Chanel 19, the small size, okay? Well, they call it the medium, but we all call it the small. So the one that I have, she really likes that bag. But the problem with her is the strap is way too long for her and you can't adjust the strap. So what I say is, usually styles, like when they change things up, they won't change that style, but who knows? They might come out with a smaller size, right? With a smaller strap. So they did that with the Coco handle, right? The Coco handle, there used to be a mini, which is the same as my white one. And then they came out with this extra mini. I never thought they'd come out with this tiny extra mini, and that has a longer strap so you can wear it crossbody. So you never know, they might come out with a new style or a new size that is better suited to you. So just wait. Like, if it's not perfect for you and your lifestyle, then wait it out. They'll definitely bring out something that you've always been looking for, so just wait. They did that with Dior. So with my diorama, there's a gold diorama I had. They always had it in like this medium size, and I always wanted the smaller size, and they never had it. And then around the time that I purchased it, they had just introduced that gold in the small size, and it was perfect. So because I had waited, it was okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips that I've given you, just based on my own experience. Let me know in the comment section down below what experience you have, and this could be for any luxury house. It doesn't have to be Chanel. It could be any luxury house, and what to look for, because you know, it could be something that we can learn from, right? So with any, like, if you shopped at Dior, if you shopped at Louis Vuitton, if you shopped at Hermes, Prada, if you shopped at Gucci, if you shopped at Fendi, let me know. Let me know if you come across anything, and just so that everybody else can reference down below and you guys can interact with each other. I'd love to see that. This video came with good timing because we talked about, there's so much buzz on YouTube, especially with every price increase. Anytime there's a price increase, everybody talks about quality and blah blah blah, right? So there's frustration, and I get it. So this video came with good time. I wanted to do a video on this. Also, recently, people have been messaging me saying that they're receiving a bag and they hope that it's good quality, or I want to purchase a bag, they don't have it in the boutique, but they're going to ship it over from another province. And is it a good idea for me to go ahead? Because what if it's not good quality, right? We shouldn't have these questions in our head, but unfortunately we do. And I guess the reason why we're a little bit more nervous here is because we don't get a full refund. Once you pay your money, you're going to get store credit. That's it, right? So it's a lot of money to put on the line. Versus if you were to you know, be able to get a full refund, then you have a little bit more peace of mind that, hey, if it's a dud, I can get my money back, right? So that's why that's why there's a little bit of a hesitation. But especially when it comes to the Trendy CC, which of course I'm going to unbox with you guys. Another follower of mine had messaged me after my Trendy CC video and said, hey, I'm getting a Trendy CC shipped into me and I really hope that it's good quality, right? I'm like, thankfully it was. She sent me a photo, but here it is. I had informed a few sales associates that after that story, because I told everybody what happened, that this is on my list, and if one comes in, to please let me know and keep me in mind if they do get drawn for the lottery for it. So This time around, the Trendy CC was back for the 21B collection, and I got a message from one of my sales associates, actually from 3 associates, that they had one, but this one had messaged me first, so I went for it. And they sent me photos, and they said, I think it looks good, based on, you know, the defects that I pointed out. They said, this one looks good to me. What do you think? And in photos, I saw it and I said, hey, it looks good to me, but I'll come in and take a look because stores are open. So I went and took a look, and then I paid for it. So here is the Trendy CC. There's no surprise, okay? This is how it's packaged. It's got the little care booklet inside. And let's hope that, well, I mean, I already inspected it. So here it is. And let's open it up. Has all the felt, which is nice. Has all the stickers, still has all the packaging inside, which is really good. Yeah, it's good. This is her. This is what it looks like. In lambskin. The lambskin also feels quite good as compared to the last one that the last dud I had. The sticker's on there. This sticker has some bubbles on it. My green one didn't, so that's why I left it on, but then eventually I took it off because I was like, what am I saving it for? And I'm just so glad that I took it off because it's so beautiful and shiny. So I did keep the sticker on for some time, but you have to enjoy the hardware. So we will be taking the stickers off together, okay? We're gonna be doing this on YouTube. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. So again, the leather just feels so good, so soft. Let's see them side by side. Similar in proportions. There's no difference in proportions. Whereas the other ones, the other one that I got, this was taller. Like, it was weird. It was really off. So, same proportions, guys. So let's take the sticker off. We're going to take the front. So let's take this off. And we'll share the excitement of taking off the sticker. So it's already cracked, it's already bubbly as it is, right? So let's enjoy the sound of music, sound of the sticker coming off. And that is the beautiful, shiny hardware. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. It's just such a classy, I mean, some people don't like the Trendy CC, but just because they think it's too boxy and square. Now, when I did purchase it, I did notice a little scuff when I did see it. A little scuff in there, but it could be a lot worse, and I know that I will get a scuff on it, so I was okay with it. It's better than it being on the outside, so it's okay. I'm able to overlook that. But it has all the stuffing and everything inside. And yes, before I go on any further, I want to show you a little bonus. And yeah. Actually, I should take this off, right? Let's take this off. It's the next day and I completely forgot that I didn't take all of the stickers off, like, where I was just way too excited and didn't take all the stickers off. So we're just gonna take off the top and I'll give you some more details of the bag. So there's that shiny hardware, and then on the inside we've got these ones on the stoppers. Now some older Trendy CCs have oh gosh, how do I do this? Some older Trendy CCs have the T-bars instead of the discs. So these are these little disc type stoppers, and the previous ones had like T-bars. Look how beautiful and shiny that is. Also, I'm actually kind of glad that I got this as soon as I did. I mean, it would have been nice to wait a while because I just bought a bunch of stuff and didn't want to spend another chunk of money on a bag. But the thing is, this didn't get, this wasn't in the price increase. So the price increase that just happened, I was, you know, thinking, oh wait, maybe if the Trendy gets affected, which it didn't. So it's still the same price, although since the, oh my gosh, why is this taking forever? Okay, I'll do this later. Basically, here we go. There we go. Taking off the stickers. When I got the green one, it was 6,400 Canadian. And then since then, there were some currency adjustments. So there was like a sneaky price increase. So it wasn't included in like the official price increase for everything, but it did increase in price to $69.50. So that's the interior. And mine is the one with the new plaques. If you can see in there, there's a little plaque. So they eliminated the sticker with the authenticity card, and yeah, so there's no sticker like there used to be on the inside of the bag with the serial number, and there's no authenticity card, but now there's this like little gold colored plaque on the inside of the bag, which I think is actually a lot better, to be honest. And it's not a chip. I know we were really excited about it being a chip, but it's not a chip. So you know, yeah, it's fancier, but and also the Chanel and Moi program is not like, you're not registering online anymore, so they don't have the like some people have said that in boutique you scan or something. You scan not the bag, but the sales associate would input into the bag, into the system, what bag you bought, and then register you. So yeah, we don't have that here yet. I think it's happening in other countries, but not in Canada yet. But here you go. So yeah, perfect. I'm glad that there was no increase on this yet, aside from what was already increased. And it has all the stickers gone. Good, there we go. Oh my god, I have to get in at it with a knife. Hold on. So don't use a knife. I used scissors. I said knife, don't use a knife because you can have a little accident. Okay, so always use scissors because you have more control. But I did that off camera because my battery was overheating, so I just thought I'd let it cool down as I did that. And I don't think you want to see me snipping away paper. That's not fun. But this is the Trendy CC. Absolutely beautiful bag, and I'm so happy that I have this. It's such a luscious lambskin. It feels amazing. I don't have to keep going on about it. I'm gonna just mention to you that when I first saw it, I saw it coming out of the box, how it's being shipped to the boutique. So there's like a white box that it's packaged in, and it's got all the packaging as you saw. And when I did open it, I did see the scuff, a little scuff that's there. It's very minor, actually. You can buff it out, but I saw it there. And I mean, nobody had opened it, right? Like even like my sales associate had seen it, but didn't open it inside. So sometimes it comes like that, and you're gonna scratch it too. So it's not a huge deal. But I'm super, super thrilled with this. So that's amazing. Now, as I said, there's a little surprise. I was actually surprised. So they had this item, and when my sales associate brought this out, they also brought out this as well, and I was like, is that? And they're like, yep, it is. And I was so thrilled. I could not say no. Could not say no. Even this, I mean, it was planned, right? Like, I felt kind of gluttonous because I just purchased a couple of items, and I was like, oh my god, but I knew I wanted to get this, so it was planned. So there's no excuse. This was not planned. So I felt a little bit gluttonous. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm overdoing it, but I've always wanted this, so I'm so happy. But it's an SLG, okay? But it just, I mean, seeing them together, I was like, oh my god. Okay, here is the box. Let's open it up. Any guesses? Any guesses, guys, what this could be? Because if you know, you know, right? Ta-da! I got the baby and the mama, okay? So the baby and the mama. So when I saw them together, I was like, okay, you know what? I need this. I need this in my life. It's in black. I can't go wrong. No, I will not be selling the ones that I have. I know some people asked me that when I got the silver. They were asking me if I will sell the pink. No, but they will come out with other ones. Don't worry. They actually have a light purple version that's in boutiques or might be coming. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. Got a little square one. And this too, I inspected if the flap is crooked. Some of them can be, but because it's the lambskin, it can kind of shift, just so you know, for this particular style. So, you know, I looked at it and it's okay. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the little unboxing at the end of the video. I didn't mean to put at the end of the video, it's just because I just started talking, but I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and just wanted to share the, you know, the victory of finally getting the piece that I wanted in the condition that I wanted, brand new from the boutique and with no visible structural defects. That is lovely. Thank you so much. Okay guys, I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye. So if you've seen me unbox this before, I do have this in the lilac and a silver. So basically it is a mini Trendy CC. They call it clutch on chain. So it just has a simple strap, and then it has 4 card slots inside, 2 on the back, 2 on the front. And yeah, there's like a long chain. It doesn't fit a phone, of course. It is a mini bag or a small leather good, but it can fit a whole lot. It can fit your key fob, it can fit your lipstick, cash, cards, just about anything else you'd put into a mini bag except your phone. That's what I find, at least. So it's quite generous for a small bag, and it's just really cute. Sometimes you just want something really small, and I never was into mini bags. A lot of the mini small leather goods are a bit ridiculous. I'll say that, and I won't really buy them. I've tried some of them on, and the price difference between this and some of the card holders on chain that they have is very small, yet you get a lot more space for this tiny item than those. Yeah, and I can justify it as much as I want, but I definitely find that this is a better buy than the card holders on chain that they have, honestly. It is, you know, definitely if you can get the wallet on chain, that will be a better buy than this. I would say that. So if you can get a wallet on chain or the mini wallet on chain, if it fits your phone, get that. If you know, because you're already spending so much, you might as well put in a little bit more and get that. But I already have that, so I just loved, you know, this piece. Right, I just really love it. So the black is really nice, but as a first piece I wouldn't recommend. I would say get the wallet on chain, but I'll do a review of these and I'll show you what can fit inside versus wallet on chain. I think that will be helpful to anybody who's looking into getting like a mini bag or deciding whether a wallet on chain is worth it or not. I will always say that the wallet on chain is always a better buy than getting a tiny mini bag, and some mini bags can be close to $3 which is ridiculous. So you might as well just get the wallet on chain. You'll get a lot more use out of it, plus it's a classic item. It's always going to be there.